I'm your host, Jason Tartick, and welcome to Trading Secrets. We talk all things money on this podcast, and we're teaching all the stuff we just weren't taught in the classroom. Nothing supports this show more than liking, commenting, and of course, subscribing. Welcome back to another episode of Trading Secrets. Today, we are joined by mother, wife, businesswoman, and reality TV personality from Bravo's Real Housewives of New York, Erin Lichy. Erin is a multifaceted serial entrepreneur. She is the co-founder of Mezcalum, an all-natural 100% Mezcal brand, where she oversees marketing initiatives and branding strategies as a CMO. In addition to that, Erin has worked as a real estate agent, co-founded a successful hand brand, launched an interior design build firm, all while building a strong personal brand. Most recently, Erin became a cast member of Real Housewives of New York and holds multiple roles in the media and entertainment industry. She defines everything it means to be an entrepreneur. Erin, thank you so much for being on Trading Secrets.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
You got a stacked resume.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes when I hear it, I'm like, damn, I need to take a break.
I've got a million questions for you, but how do you actually manage all of that? Is it a good team? Is it you just work 24/7? How do you actually do it all?
I feel like my brain works in a way that I need to be doing multiple things at once for it to be functioning properly. Which I know sounds really weird, but it's I must have ADD, and I just have figured out a career that it works for. So
it took me 35 years to get diagnosed with ADHD, and second you started saying it, I'm like, it sounds kind of, I'm not a doctor, but it sounds a little like that.
Right? Yeah. And I think people talk about it with a negative connotation. I almost feel like it's a superpower because my brain works. I need multiple businesses and ventures. That's how I optimize my workflow.
Is it the success of it, or is it the chaos of it, or is it the challenge? Which one of those areas?
I love it all. I love the journey. I love creation.
Okay.
So for me, it's watching something come to fruition. I think that's why I've loved interior design so much.
Okay.
And really building. I mean, I went to NYU and got my master's in sustainable development, and I just love being able to conceive what the place or the building or the house could look like, and then actually seeing it come to life.
Okay.
That's, to me, the most exciting thing. And it's the same with business.
Yeah.
Business is a thought. It's
true.
It's something that pops into your, that's what happened with Mezcalum.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden we have bottles and we're distributing, and we have a distributor and we have a team, and it's wild.
Yeah, the thought becomes reality. You have this blank canvas and you've created an unbelievable reality. But one of the things you thought about twice was going into reality TV, because you had mentioned some of the concerns. And so I'm thinking, you got everything set up here. It looks like a beautiful slate. It's not a blueprint, it's a mosaic. Why go into reality TV? Why take the risk?
It's another challenge.
Okay, that's the chaos part.
Yeah, probably. That's the chaos part. Yes, correct. And I feel like the way that the show was presented to me, which is what the show currently exists as, was kind of a fresh start and a fresh take on New York. Okay. And I was really excited about that. Having a bunch of women that have careers and families and businesses and, so much going on, and they live in New York, and we're all diverse, and we live in different areas, and we come from different places. It was so different than what the show was before us.
How did you perceive it as what it was before you guys?
It was a little, enclave of Upper East Side women that, ran in the same circle. That's what it was, and then they'd have new people that came from the same circle. And then that's why they would they were sleeping with a lot of the same guys. And that's what happens when you.
For good TV.
Yeah, it's great TV. I mean, they were epic and incredible women.
Yeah.
But I was excited about this new version, which is, in my opinion, what New York really is,
How did they find you? Or did you find them?
Actually, they found me. So one of the original people that were supposed to be on the show had recommended me. It was very quick for me.
Yeah, so you get recommended. She's no longer on it.
Yeah.
Is it a quick process?
It was very quick for me. I know that some of the other girls were in talks for years.
Yeah, so I've been on reality shows. I've been on several of them, being casted for a couple now. There's nothing, the word quick doesn't touch any of them.
This was quick.
I'm shocked to hear that.
So I spoke to the casting producer, and then that was escalated, and I went and met with them at Bravo, and then they gave me the offer on my 35th birthday, which is so wild, on my birthday.
That's a hell of a day right there.
I was like, this might be something I should do.
Was there anything, I think about, Bachelor, a couple things happening now. There's blood tests, there's psych tests, there was one time with The Bachelor, I always tell this story, it's fun. there's all these producers around me, and I'm in the middle in a chair, and they have me pick out a question from a bowl. And the question was, what is your favorite animal? And I said, lion. They said, why? I said, I loved the movie Lion King as a kid. I just like lions. So they throw me a pillow. They're like, start singing Lion King. And I'm in the middle of 30 people just like singing Lion King, belting it out. And the one guy's like, oh yeah, you're going on the show. Was there any like curveball questions? Or,
that
like,
is the craziest thing.
Yeah, see, you got it easy. You get one request, one interview, boom, you're done.
There was no. That sounds like psychological warfare there.
To the
my
Bachelor franchise.
Blood tests? What?
Well, they got to. If you're sleeping with the other people, they got to make sure you don't have STDs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's great. It gets intense.
Holy shit!
They're covering their liability. No. All right, so it was simple. It was easy.
They obviously want to understand you a little bit better. It was a long meeting. It wasn't like it was 20 minutes in and out. It was like a very long conversation.
Sure.
And I think they got a sense of how we would all jive,
Yeah.
and that was important to them.
All right, you're a businesswoman. You've had many successful businesses. Negotiating is a huge part about it, especially
my favorite thing
in real estate. Okay, so then how do you?
Favorite.
Bravo comes to you with an opportunity. It's a whole new cast. It's a whole new everything these days with reality TV. How do you know how to negotiate? What do you do?
Well, one thing I learned early on in my career is you go to your experts and you ask people questions that you don't know the answer to. So one of my very good friends, luckily, is a partner at WME.
Nice.
And I called him, my friend Benjamin Simone. I will shout him out. He's the best. And I was like, Ben, I don't know like when I'm supposed to negotiate, whatever. He's like, oh, don't worry, I'll give you all red line. And he like redlined the whole thing and hooked me up, and I felt comfortable. I just trusted him. I've known him for years. So
like as far as experts go, did you talk to any of the previous cast about like
No.
what they were paid? Did you talk to the current cast about what they were paid?
the girls that were on it with me,
Yeah,
we all kind of like
that's like a big
we
thing
all know
now.
that
And like like everyone in corporations are like it's like a big financial transparency thing where colleagues are like talking about it, and it's a topic that comes
that's like
up.
normal.
Yeah. So you guys all know that.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So one of your concerns in doing reality TV was the impact it could have on your personal life. Looking back at your time on the show, was that intuition on point?
Yeah, it definitely impacts your personal life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're in a solid relationship, I think you can get through it.
Yeah.
But if there's not communication, and I don't know, I could see it going south. But I think Abe and we've been together for a long time, and I'm like overly communicative, which is probably annoying to him half the time. But because of that, we talk through things. So we just get it out and we move on. And I think ultimately we're solid. So having that base is so important coming into a show like this.
Huge.
So important.
What is the hardest part? Outside noise? Is it the internal noise? Like, what is the element
outside noise
of just
outside
everyone's
noise?
just constantly
it's the outside
giving their
noise,
opinion?
And it's like, you know, sometimes the opinions are so out of left field.
Yeah.
And then other times it's like they back you up or they back him up. And then it's like, should I be feeling this way? Like, should I be more mad about this?
Sure.
It almost puts stuff in your mind. So the best advice I've ever gotten is do not read the comments.
Yeah. That's
And
so true.
it's impossible in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like in your infancy of doing something like this, like everybody says, just don't do it. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. It's like a hazing to yourself.
Yeah.
You do it.
Just go shop
But then
for a little
after,
pain.
yeah, and then after a while, it's like I don't even care.
Yeah, you start to get numb to it.
Like now
right?
I'm just like, whatever, say whatever you want to say, you know?
Yeah. So looking back on it, is that a business decision you regret, or are you happy with the decision?
No, I have no regrets, honestly, in my life. Like my handbag business was a fail. Like it was a failure, you know? But I don't even see it like that. You know, technically it was because it didn't take off, and I ended up selling the name. But on the other hand, it was the best learning experience of my life.
Yeah.
I would never know how to build a business the way I'm building it now if that didn't
have
happen.
that failure.
Never. Either would Abe.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
All right, we talked a little bit about it before, but I wrote a book called Talk Money to Me, and it's the whole idea about financial
By the
transparency.
way, I reposted your story today, and I had a bunch of my girlfriends were like, "We love him."
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
that's nice. Do you want to know what happened when I reposted your story?
Oh God, bad things?
No, it was all very good.
Okay.
But I got like you have a lot of fans out there.
Oh,
but
gosh.
yeah, a ton of people were like, oh my God, I thought this was your ex-fiance. The picture that I didn't realize it, but that one picture, the one picture I put I was like, oh shit.
Who are you engaged to?
Her name's Caitlin Bristow.
Oh,
and it was the one
digging on you.
I don't think you guys actually look alike.
Okay.
But in that one photo, I was like, oh my God.
They thought you were interviewing your ex-fiance?
Yeah, they're like, are you they're like, I just had to do a triple check there right there. I'm like, no. Anyway, because that would have been an interesting interview. But anyway, let's actually transition to some of the concerns you had in reality TV and then tie it to finance and business.
Okay.
So I read an article. I think anybody who's a Real Housewives of New York fan knows the story, but you're quoted talking about the fact that you hadn't seen your Bitcoin in a while.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's off the charts. It was high. And then
it's even higher now.
It's even higher now. You thought it'd be a good time, your exact words, to pay off a large chunk of the mortgage. You're excited to log in your account, see how much it had grown. And then when you got in, you were shocked, major shocked, because your husband had sold it much lower than it is now. You were angry and you felt as though there were financial secrets happening. And so and in the book, we talked a lot about that 43% of married or cohabitating relationships deal with financial infidelity, which is like this concept of like cheating through finances or so. Did you feel as though this like went under the facet of financial infidelity? Like, did you feel like you kind of got cheated on with finances?
In a way, yes, but these kind of things are so nuanced, right? Like so nuanced, your relationship. Abe has a problem. I mean, he's much better at it now, but he had an issue with being an avoidant, right? Like he would just rather not ruffle feathers, like deal with it on his own, not stress me out, and just handle it. So like that was a common thing for him, and that's what he was trying to do. Obviously, it got out of hand, but like and it's not okay. And I was very upset when it first happened. Yeah, but you know, I know that it wasn't from a bad place, and it wasn't like he was out going to strip clubs and you know, blowing money on whatever. He was just trying to take care of the financial aspect that he had said he previously took care of.
Got it. So I feel like in some relationships, people are hearing this and they would be like, I would never check in on my husband's crypto. Like, I don't even know what's going on.
That's true.
But in your circumstance, do you guys kind of operate? Do you have like financial rules? Do you operate in fully transparency? Like, what does it look like? We
do. And we also have like roles. Like there are certain things I take care of in terms of our finances, and there are certain things he takes care of.
How do you decide how to split those?
It just kind of happened. Okay. Like I'm very OCD, very organized. I'm not actually OCD. I've been reading have you seen this on Instagram recently where people are like, stop saying big, like, you know, words like therapy words.
Like narcissist, OCD.
Yeah, which I actually agree with.
Yeah,
so like
everything's so overused right now.
Yeah. But I'm just very organized, like crazy organized. Okay. So I have like spreadsheets and lists, and I make sure that everything is like done a certain way and blah, blah, blah. But there are certain things like he handles our mortgage and he manages, you know, like if we're going to take out some money from the HELOC to invest in something else, like that's his department. So we have like our departments. Yeah. And that was just his department.
So the Bitcoin was his. Okay, so he did it. He did like kind of his duty under.
Yes.
He just didn't tell you about it.
He just didn't tell me.
So what can you know, we talk a little bit about financial transparency on this podcast. What did you expect that number to be when you signed in?
Definitely over 100,000. Yeah. Like definitely. Okay. But I'll give him this. Like on the other hand.
Well, that's one coin. Well, right now
it was
like this second, it's like 90,000.
Yeah, and back then when he sold it, it was less. It was I think like 40 or 50. No, it was probably like 50.
But I mean, are we talking a ton of coins? But I
didn't want to. It was a couple.
It was a couple
more
coins?
than a couple. But like, I didn't want to sell it at all.
That was such a confident. It was a couple. More than a couple.
Yeah, like I just didn't want to sell it at all. Yeah, like I just wanted to keep them forever. Because that's how I'm also more like that. Yeah. More conservative in my sales. Yeah. But on the other hand, like he's a really good trader. Like he's made that back in other things. So like, you know, I think that's why it's like give or take, and it depends on the person and the situation. So he's like made it back. He's fine. He knows what he's doing. He just didn't want to talk to me about it. But the real issue was, it's not even about the finances. It's the fact that he didn't feel comfortable talking to me about it. Right. So we had to work on our relationship. It was like, why are you uncomfortable talking to me about it? And also, you need to step up and feel comfortable doing it. Also, I have to be kinder, I guess, when I receive news that I don't like. Yeah. So it's like a two-way
It's like the
street.
psychology of it, actually.
Yes.
It's not about the money. It's about like where are the rooted things. And you use the word avoidant, right? Like that. I'm similar in that way. And so that probably came from learning that it was just easier to not step into it.
Exactly.
Than to step into
I actually thought it was really interesting to see how many people reached out and said, I have the same dynamic. And like a lot of women were the avoidant ones. And even one person was telling me, I was on another podcast, that she had all this credit card debt and she was afraid to tell her husband. Like it happens it happens.
Oh, it's not, it's nonstop. When I would say the biggest response I've ever gotten to anything on Instagram when I put like a question out or asking for people to email me is when I was asking for examples of financial infidelity. I'm like, do you know someone, or have you or anyone like got screwed over by the store? And they just didn't stop. They just didn't stop. Because it is weird that we live in this world where it's still, especially like you're getting married to someone and you still can't have conversations about like, I don't know, like what do you make or what's your debt burden without a judgmental, oh no, not at all. And so that leads to so many issues post-marriage, and it just doesn't stop.
It's just about transparency ultimately. Just in any part of your relationship, you need to be transparent. Otherwise, it just doesn't really work.
I totally get that. One thing, you already talked about the handbag company, but I think in one of your quotes you had said that there were also some other bills from the former handbag business that came up when you thought about this. So it was like another
there were like a few things that he was still clearing up that he hadn't cleared up that I thought was cleared up.
Okay. Yeah. And does that just come from the idea of, I don't want to bring bad news to the table?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it was that same thing.
Yeah.
He was like, enough with the bad news. Like, we went through it already. Like, I'll just manage this on my own.
Got it.
But like, we're a partnership.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not just some girl that's like, not doing any business. But even if I was, like, you still have to be transparent.
100%. When I saw the clip, the one thing I was curious about was when I saw his face when you brought it up on the show. I paused. His face was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, someone who's been in reality TV, I didn't know if his face was like, oh shit, you found this out, or I forgot about it, or it was like, oh shit, I can't believe you just brought up like a financial thing in front of cameras.
I will tell you this, and it was actually something that I found attractive and like something I really liked about him. He said to me prior to us filming that, we can talk about like because I don't know if you saw the beginning of that episode, but I had yelled at him about talking about mushrooms.
Yes.
Okay. And it wasn't about the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like they caught me on camera talking about tripping in my house, right?
Okay,
so it wasn't about the mushrooms.
Yeah.
But I was upset with him, and there were other reasons. So at home, he was like, "Look, if you want to bring up the real reasons, let's talk about it."
Okay.
So he was being open and honest, and he decided to share that on national television because he felt like it's just what happened.
Yeah.
And it's the reality.
And like on a podcast like this, I think so many people can learn from it.
Yeah.
Right? Like and I think the big thing that you said, it's about like the intention. Was it being
100%.
done to go spend money on strip clubs and dumb things? Or was it, like, hey, this is my job. I'm going to do it. We're good. We're not going to worry about it. Right. So I think there's a ton of learning lessons in that.
Yeah.
We talked about the handbag company, so I want to go back to it.
Okay.
You said you look at that as a failure?
No, I don't look at it as a failure, but we lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
So like technically it kind of failed.
You're setting me up to ask the question. You're just teeing me up. How much did you lose?
Oh gosh, upwards of over 100,000. I mean, we just kept pouring money. You know how fashion business,
it's tough.
Unless you're backed by someone big or you have some incredible new design or whatever it is, or you work in the industry for years before, it is impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You get screwed on, minimums in Asia, or if you're making anywhere overseas, you get screwed on minimums. Then you start making it in New York and you get screwed on like labor costs, and it's just all of it. It's just really, it's very difficult. We actually really believed in making things in New York and in like our studio. We were making them in China before.
Okay.
And I felt very uncomfortable by it. For many reasons. Yeah. Many, many reasons. We went to Guangzhou many times and we visited the factories and we did the whole thing.
What's one thing we wouldn't know unless like we could hear from you in those factories?
The factories are not the way that they say that they are. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
They're not run properly.
Okay. Much worse
not
than expected.
Not all of them, but the one that I went to.
The one that you saw?
I was very disappointed seeing the workmanship there, and it was upsetting.
And do you know how many people actually make that trip? None.
Right.
They just start buying.
Yeah.
Okay, so you then started manufacturing in New York. But that stuff is important
to me.
Yeah, it should be.
So then we started manufacturing in New York. Yeah, and actually in our studio, we had someone making. That's when we kind of pivoted to Framework, which was really like a custom design firm, and that was doing really, really well. But like, it doesn't operate well when you're running something in your own office. It doesn't operate optimally. right? Like everything is slower.
Yeah.
You have to go buy materials from Italy that are transported to New York, and then you pay the broker fee on top, and then that costs a lot of money, and then you can't make it up in the markup. And it was like a never-ending battle.
Yeah.
And New York is just so expensive. Our office was like incredibly expensive.
Did you guys raise capital? Did you do it all on your money?
No.
Okay.
And that's what I learned never to do again.
What's that?
To use your own money to build a business.
So you're all about the OPM. Use other people's money.
Oh, yes. And give some of your business away. Do not be greedy about the percentage that you have.
All right. That's a good take there. So you put $100,000 into this.
Oh,
company.
more than that.
More than $100,000.
We started with 100 probably.
And when you were actually, I'm just curious, the business, how much were you selling the bag for?
Oh, well, so it changed a lot, right? It started as one business and then it changed. But the beginning when we were selling leather handbags, I think they went, honestly, I can't even remember anymore. It's like over 10 years ago. But I think we were selling them at from 128 to 400 something.
Okay.
So they were still good price points.
All right. Yeah, those are pretty good. And the biggest lesson from that experience, number one?
Probably to build a business with help. Bring in outside people, get advisors, build a proper business. That's what I learned. I did not build a proper business. I just, on a whim, started an LLC name and started designing bags. This time, Abe and I went into it with a partner in sales, advisors, raising capital.
When you say this time, what are you referring to?
Mezcalum.
Mezcalum. Okay, so tell me the breakdown.
We created the name. We bought, the license, the LLC, and all that stuff, and then we actually built an infrastructure before coming to market. Yeah.
How much
we did not do?
Did you raise capital before coming to market?
Yes.
Okay. And how much did you guys raise?
The first round, can I say this stuff? I don't know.
This is what we talk about.
We raised, I believe, over $1 million because there was so much interest. So we raised we raised I think close to 1.5. Yeah.
What it's like for anyone that's listening that's trying to raise capital, what was the selling point? Was it you as the brand ambassador?
Honestly, not so much. We sold our first year without it ever airing on TV.
Really?
Yeah. And we actually crushed normal cases for a new brand. I mean, we beat what Casamigos did in year one.
No way.
Yeah, we did.
Interesting.
Kind of crazy. Yeah.
So were you selling through liquor stores? What channels were you going through?
You have to work with the distributor.
Yeah.
Legally.
Oh, that's right. Distributor. Right.
Yeah,
right,
legally.
Right.
But we hired a very seasoned, very smart SVP of sales.
Okay.
But he was under my best friend that I grew up with, who's our head of sales. So we had the proper motions in place. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We had all the right people. And what we did that was really smart this time is we have a band of advisors.
Okay.
And they're all from different walks of life. And one of our advisors is John Geist, who was head of Boston Beer Co. for over 20 years.
That's a huge name.
Huge. Yeah. Then we have Carrie Simon, who's the president of Hearst Media.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
that's
and creative
group.
director. So we have these people that are you need to be thinking about this. You need to be thinking about that. This is how we come to market.
Wow.
And most recently, around the time of our second round, we brought in the first ever hire of Casamigos.
Oh, wow.
Who is now no longer at Casamigos because, it was bought by Diageo. Now Diageo runs the show.
Yeah.
So we have Max Blank and Matt Rotner, and they're a team, and they're unbelievable. I love you both so much. And they've just taken things to a whole new level.
So when you talk about other people's money, you raise capital, you then build this team, but you talked about giving points away. So are your employees paid lower salaries and then they get points of the business?
Funny.
How do you structure it?
So this is really funny because I was talking to another friend of mine who has a very successful business.
Yeah.
And their opinion is that you should do that.
Sure.
What you just said.
Yeah.
But Abe's take, which I actually followed and agree with, you should have him on. He's really well versed in all this
would love
Mezcalum
to.
stuff. Is that you don't want to skimp on the quality of the professional.
People. Okay.
You want to give them that base salary that allows them to live in New York City.
Sure.
And then if they outperform, then you give them those incentives.
Okay.
So by doing so, we've had excellent workers. And that's allowed us to grow much further. It's better to have the one killer employee than two that, you're
bees?
paying under what they really should be paid, and then maybe giving them incentive. If you're a big hustler and you're really a smart business person, you're not taking a low salary that you can't really live on. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So
what is in New York City? What is that?
It's over 100.
What is the barometer right now? Yeah. So if you want to get someone in the door that is a perfect fit for this type of business, you're talking about $100,000 or so. Okay. And then they can work up accordingly.
And then they can work up. And then we always have bonuses.
Okay.
We give bonus.
Incentivization based on what you're doing. Okay.
Based on performance.
All right.
And usually we give bonus. And we also hired a great CFO.
Yeah.
That came from the liquor industry. We got a recruiter, like things that I would never have done the first time around.
Yeah.
You know, like we hired a really good recruiter.
Okay. So you get this foundation in place. I mean, it sounds like you have sharks on the team. You then go on Real Housewives. How has the actual show and social media helped the business, or has it not?
Social media has been great. I said some really stupid shit this season about Mezcal that Give me
an example.
I was talking about like 13, 14 years ago when I first went to Tulum and our house manager brought us Mezcal. And I was like, I need to bring this to America. And people were like, Mezcal's been in America for a very fucking long time. So I sounded like an idiot, but it was very funny. So it actually got us, ironically, a ton of eyeballs.
Okay.
But I think just like the truth is that Mezcal is part of my life because I am at a stage in my life where I care about health and wellness, and I'm not also giving up the spirited life that I like to live. Like I like to go out and party. I'm always going to have that side of me.
Yeah.
But the same way I care about the food I put into my body, I care about the alcohol that I put into my body. I'm not drinking tequila with tons of additives. Like I refuse to do that.
Yeah.
So it came out of necessity, you know, and also Mezcal and that I've tasted in America has traditionally been very smoky.
Yeah, it is.
And overwhelmingly,
like a little scotchy. Is yours different in that regard?
Yeah, it's very light on the smoke. It's very approachable. Like when you mix it in an espresso martini, it doesn't taste like mezcal. It just tastes like tequila, like a good tequila.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is Bravo pretty supportive with the business? I mean, like Bravo could have brand opportunities and commercials with like the biggest players, right? Like Patron or Casamigos. Yeah. I mean, are they supportive of the small business? Do they help showcase
Incredibly supportive. Incredibly supportive. And I'll say this, we love the crew on Watch What Happens Live, like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And we were like, can we like gift everyone a bottle in the rooms? And they were like, absolutely.
Nice.
So we're in they're so supportive. I really have to say Bravo and the network, everybody is so kind and supportive, and it's a great place to be.
I love it. Have you done a second round of?
We're in it now.
You're in it right now?
Yeah, and Abe is crushing.
Abe, let's go. We're making up for that Bitcoin. Abe,
yeah, that's why I can't be mad.
Let's go. You can't be mad now. What is the goal? How much are you guys trying to raise?
I think we're looking at like 2.5 for this one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had the handbag business. You're a Real Housewife in New York. You have Mezcal, and you're also in real estate.
Yeah. Well, that's like in my blood.
Yeah. Since day one. But you're still like, what percentage of your week are you in real estate?
Not much, although anytime a friend or family member calls me to like help them with a deal or get involved in a deal, and I still do love doing a couple deals a year, at least like bigger deals.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying selling real estate in the Hamptons.
Okay, gotcha.
That's been a beautiful thing for me.
Like
business in the Hamptons I've been enjoying.
The place is unbelievable.
Like renovations in the Hamptons.
Yeah, well, that's a whole process too, right? Just getting all the supplies out there and finding the right people. What, like a nice home in the Hamptons right now? Like you want to ball out. What's it going for?
Oh, yeah, I thought you were talking about my house.
Yeah.
If you want to ball out.
Like if you want to.
You could go to $80 million. There was just a sale from someone on our team, $89 million. $89 million.
What does that get you? How many square feet?
Crazy, massive house on the beach.
That's insane. $90 million.
$90 million.
And so you're doing like in a 2024, how many deals do you think you did?
In 2024, probably like 4 deals.
Okay.
4 good deals.
So it's a side hustle thing. Okay. And you were once upon a time, at least at your IDM, it says you were on $1 million listing.
Oh yeah, because I worked with Frederick for years.
Gotcha.
And he actually called our team and he said, who has someone who has enough money to actually buy this property in Sugar Beach, Viceroy?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I could call half my phone list and my friends could buy it. Like, I don't know if they will, but they can afford it.
Sure.
So he's like, okay, Erin, who do you want to bring? So I called my girlfriend and she was like, actually, this is kind of interesting. So we ended up going on this fun girls trip to Sugar Beach with Frederick and like filming her looking at Howard Lorber came. It was like the whole thing.
Did they ever think about having you on as an agent?
I don't know. I was like working with Frederick. So I feel like it was different then, the show.
Yeah.
You know, there was so much drama that happened on that trip. And I was like, why are you guys not using this? And they were like, that's not the kind of show that this is.
Yeah, that was
I
much
feel like
more,
now it's turned into the real estate shows have turned into that.
Yeah.
But I was like, there was so
focused.
much drama with Steve and this girl. Like, it was crazy. It was so juicy.
Like what behind, like just arguing about the property?
No, there was this girl that was like trying to get with him.
Oh,
and, like they got into a fight. Oh yeah. It was
all while still on a real estate deal?
Yeah, well, we were on a trip together.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
You know, it was like a whole thing.
All right. So real estate's about like, we'll call it 5% of your week to week, right? All right. Do you have any desire to do other reality shows? Do you want to step outside of Bravo, do a competition show, anything on your radar? Like what would you like to do? What's the dream?
I would love to do, everybody says that I should be on Traders.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it, so I should watch it.
New season airing here.
I should watch it, but I would love to do Dancing with the Stars.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have a dancing background?
No, but I'm just so competitive. I feel like I want to like do it and like win. My dad was like obsessed with the show, so that's what makes me want
Our buddy and former bachelor Joey just won it this past season. He won it.
What?
He was a pro tennis player, never taken a dance class in his life.
See, I love that.
Absolutely crushed it.
See, that I think is so fucking cool.
Crushed it.
Good for him.
Okay, so Dancing with the Stars.
I don't know. I just feel like it would be so to
like
learn something completely new.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Put it out there. This right here. Let's get you on.
Yeah. Who knows?
Tell me a little bit about your interior design business.
I love
Erin
it so
Studio.
much. The truth is, it's very hard with my life right now to work with clients directly because it's like I am such a perfectionist that I'm picking out like their hinges and their doorknobs and everything. But we're actually in talks with a commercial project. So I think commercial projects are the way to go for us and our team.
Yeah.
But it's a great business and really it was born out of the necessity that I felt was missing in the market, which is designing properties with the market in mind.
Okay.
So a lot of our very wealthy clients at Eklund Gomes would do these renovations but they'd spend like, over $1 million on them.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't be able to sell them because they've created, like a bachelor pad in the middle of family Tribeca.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying that here.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Right, but no one's advising them. They're just making money and doing the designs that the client's asking for. We advise on, the block, the neighborhood, all of it.
Okay. What's interior design? Biggest thing, my listeners back home, what is one thing they wouldn't know unless they talk to someone like you? Like about the industry, like where are people getting taken advantage of, or like where are the markups? Like what's like the trading secret in that space? Because I feel like when you hire interior designers, it's always different quotes. I'm wondering who's getting paid backdoor, who's getting a kick based on who they recommend.
They
like
really
what should we know as
up.
consumers? They do make shit up.
They do. It's very difficult. I was talking to my girlfriend yesterday, and she was saying how she got a quote for like a lime wash for $50,000.
Yeah.
And then ended up finding someone for $10,000.
So then
$40,000 difference.
So then they're taking the $40K as a fee.
They're just Sometimes it's like if you're referred, the referral will take the fee, or the designers will take the fee. The truth is you do have to just do your homework. There's no way around it.
Okay.
One thing I'll say is sometimes it's like the simplest things that sound tricky that are actually the most inexpensive, like heated floors are not that expensive.
Interesting.
And it sounds like, heated floors, so expensive.
But how do you know, I wouldn't know. But you're saying doing your homework. How do you know where to do your homework?
You have to ask around.
Contractors.
You should research. You should ask friends that have done jobs.
Okay.
You should also take a walk through Home Depot and see what's readily available, because a lot of these contractors go to Home Depot and they're buying those heated floors like in aisle 7, and that's what they're using. And then you see how much that costs, and then you're like, hold on a minute, how much could it cost to connect it? Because we see how much it costs to buy it at Home Depot. So like things like that.
All right, we got to watch out for those markups.
Yes, and the markups are a problem.
In interior design business, what do you think the average, like if you're looking at a full invoice and you had to guess, what do you think the average markup is?
Well, I know that, I charge a markup of 30% for anything I buy.
Okay.
Because it really does take forever to source. And also, if you're working with a good designer, they typically get like a 20 to 30% discount. So you're really just paying retail.
Gotcha. So you're paying like a 10%.
Yeah, and then they're doing all this work.
Okay.
But typically it's 30. Some of them charge like 45%.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's high.
See?
And I also charge a monthly. So
a monthly retainer fee?
Too. Yeah.
That's really, I didn't know that.
But the difference is like when you're working with a designer that also has build, she manages or he manages the build firm, and that actually saves you money, because if you have a separate contractor or architect that manages them, then you're getting like triple charged. You need one point person.
Okay. That
is my biggest, maybe my trading secret.
One.
pick. Do you love your designer? Do you love your contractor? Do you love your architect? Do not have three different people that are reporting back to you and charging you on top.
I didn't know that there was a retainer. What is a typical retainer, low, high, would you say?
Oh, it totally depends. If it's like a tiny little apartment in the city, sometimes I'll do like 7,000 just to keep us going.
Interesting.
And then it could go up to like 30.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a business.
It's the best business. I should go back to that business.
What percentage of your time you spending on that?
Right now, 0.
Okay.
Yeah. I have one.
Gotcha.
No, that's not true. I have one project that's starting soon.
Okay.
That I'm invested in because it's with my mom in the Hamptons.
All right.
Which is kind of where I'm pivoting.
You got investment property.
Oh, yeah. No, that's where I'm going.
Your chips everywhere.
I told you I'm crazy.
Yeah. She did start it off like that.
Told you.
So what's the play in the Hamptons?
I helped her flip a property,
Okay.
and now we bought this new land. Well, there was an old house that we're just gut renovating, and it's going to be unbelievable. I'm so excited about this one.
Yeah.
Because this was such a deal, like such a great find.
Interesting.
That's what I'm kind of leaning into because it's really hard for me with like what I have going on in my life to
Sure.
work directly with clients.
Yeah.
So it's a lot about like flipping, finding properties, rehabbing, selling, fixing, maybe renting.
I was going to say, what about renting? Because I look at some of those rental properties out there in the Hamptons. They're 50, 100, 150, 200, 250 grand a month.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that feels like the
Absolutely.
play.
That's what we're going to do with this one.
All right. There you go. You'll have to come back on with Abe the Babe and talk about that. Let's go. So let's end with this, though. Let's talk about some of the Real Housewives questions. A lot of the listeners want to know. This is where pop culture meets money. But talk to me about your take on just the production of it. Like, do you feel as though, what is most surprising to you about like the actual production element of the show that maybe we wouldn't see unless we knew behind the scenes?
That they take their lighting very seriously.
Oh, wow. That was it. Okay.
That was a good one. But what do you mean by that?
I could tell you a million things about some of these shows that I'm just like very surprised.
Like what?
Like for Bachelor, right? No phone, no TV, no internet, no music. You can't at all connect with your family.
So
you know?
Wait, that's so
yeah,
weird.
with hometowns, like when you see the family, the only time you can see your family is when the cameras are on because they don't want any type of like, wake up, what world are you living in? So are there any like production elements or just like, do they kind of pit you guys against each other? Is there anything there that you're surprised by?
We do that all on our
You're
own.
just like, we're a special group.
Yeah.
We don't need blood tests or interviews. We just come out swinging.
One thing that sucks is the music.
Interesting. Okay.
That's hard.
I didn't expect that answer.
Yeah, because we can't, like when we go out, it's hard with the licensing. It's not their fault, but we can't play music. And that would add such an element of like fun, I think.
Yeah.
Because like, how do you have a good time without blasting music with your girlfriends? Like that's such an important part. But otherwise, production, no. I mean, I love our producers, so maybe.
All right. Let's mix in business and your cast. I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and then you just give me rapid fire who your answer would be. One person in the cast that you would partner up with on a new venture, and why?
Either Jenna or Sai.
Okay. If you were, and why?
Well, I feel like Sai and I would be like a dynamic duo, and we'd both like hustle.
Yeah.
And Jenna, because we have a lot of very similar interests and attributes that I think would be beneficial.
Okay. If you gave $100,000 to one of the housewives, that couldn't be yourself, to invest to just find the best return, like you're like, this person is going to double, triple, quadruple. This is the person. I'm not involved, and I'm giving them 100. Okay.
I give it to Raquel to buy a piece of art.
All right, if you go into a new season, we talked about how you negotiated coming on. How do you deal with the negotiation going into a new season? How do you know what your worth is? How do you know you're bringing more to the table than someone else is? And then what are some strategies that you use for negotiation that are just interesting and or someone back home could also deploy when they're thinking about going to negotiate for their annual raise?
I guess compare, right? Compare what you've done and with what other people have shared and what other people have done. And I always say shoot high, right? Why not? Yeah.
All right. So is that what you're going to do?
Probably.
Just go shoot for the stars?
Yes.
See what happens? All right. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, we talked about all your different business ventures, what you're doing, how you're doing it. A lot of the listener base, we call them the Money Mafia. They're asking just like, it's fun.
I like
how you also just manage the intricacies of all the things like in your personal life. Like do you have any tips or tricks to becoming a boss entrepreneur and becoming larger and larger in the media day by day, but also managing a healthy life at home and all the things that are happening?
Great question. One thing I'll say is that you have to nurture relationships. So like, even if it's like, I was thinking about my college girlfriends today and I was like, I haven't checked in on them in a while. I should check in on them.
Yeah.
So things like that, just even texting the group, being like, I miss you guys. Let's get a dinner on the books. Cause I do. I realize I miss them. I haven't seen them in a while. So like, that's very important because they can get lost if you forget about it. And then like, in terms of kids, when I see that my kids are getting a little out of whack and like not getting enough attention, I will take them to a one-on-one dinner. And it doesn't have to be dinner, could be ice cream, could be whatever it is. But like, having the one-on-one time is so important, and they feel so valued. Yeah. And sometimes it's not about talking about like, oh, I got an email from school today. So, so I like, as a mom, I'm like, I know I have to take them to dinner, but it's not about talking about the email from school. It's about just connecting with your kid.
Interesting.
And then that makes them like, that almost like keeps you going further. You could go and be like a businesswoman again. But nourishing relationships is my number one, and small things, big things, all the things, my number one key. Like Abe and I, last year, after I think we wrapped filming, we were like, we need alone time. So we went to Turks and Caicos for 48 hours. That's all we needed.
Yeah.
Just 48
2 days,
hours.
Reset, refresh. Just knock it out. All right, so it's the one-on-one time.
One-on-one.
Okay. And then this is probably the most random one, but we have someone submitted. I need to know, I know it doesn't pertain to your podcast. What stroller does she recommend? Which does she have and why?
Up a Baby Vista.
There you go. There's a little pitch. Maybe get a brand deal there.
Yeah, I love that stroller.
All right, we got to wrap with your trading secret. So it's one thing that our listeners could only learn from your experience, all your different endeavors, all the things you've done. They can't hear from a professor or a TikTok tutorial, which who knows if TikTok will even be around when this comes out. But what's one trading secret you could leave us with?
One trading secret that I learned over the many years that I've been in business is do your homework and ask for help. Do not think that you can run into a new business or a new venture without doing your homework and asking for help.
Was there ever a situation this happened?
Yeah, I mean, with the bags, I just went head first and didn't do any research, didn't ask for any help, really. Just thought I could start a business in fashion that I didn't work in ever. Most
of my listeners are women, and I think that is a common theme we hear about, is the idea of asking for help.
Yeah.
Because one, they don't want to put the pressure on someone else. They don't want to inconvenience. And two, also, it's like, I can do it myself. So people that think that, how do you overcome that?
Well, that's how I was. Okay. So I think, like, why not? I think that's what you have to ask yourself, right? Like, why not ask for help? Yeah. Why not bring in a partner? Okay, yes, you might fight, but whatever. Then you have half, the amount of responsibility. And especially if you're a mom and you want to be a present mother, why not start a business with a friend, or even it's not a friend, someone you're referred to. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But like, I think it's always helpful to give away, to have, what's the saying? Have a smaller piece of a bigger pie as opposed to having the whole pie that's worth nothing, right? Like, it's worth it if it turns into a huge pie.
It's interesting because I always give my trading secret what I learned from that guest, and that's what I would give as my trading secret to you. Like before you said,
really?
The smaller, it's that there's so many people that come on here that are so down their lane and they're really good at it and they're experts in it, and that's what they do, and no one can touch them, and that's their thing. They're going to be the king or queen. But you have an approach that's like, I got a little over here. I could sell a $50 million home. I could also decorate your house. I could also have you a handbag, and if you want to get drunk, I got your tequila. Like, you have your little chin. Now you're developing land in the Hamptons. So many people are so focused on becoming a master and not a jack. And when you're a jack of many and you hit one home run, you don't need to be a master of anything anymore, right? Like, you're in a good spot. So I think
the crazy thing about what I do, I think, is that it all is one. Like, everything that I do kind of goes back to the home. Right? Like, I'm in interiors. I was selling real estate for many years.
Sure.
I sell a product that, you can have cocktails at home, and is really about the kitchen and that kind of lifestyle. I love to cook. Like, I have a big family. I feel like everything is
Housewives. Like, it's all
Housewives.
Housewives.
It's all home.
It is.
All home.
So it's like, find that epicenter.
Core,
Yeah.
You know, at my core, I'm a mom and I'm a nurturer. I'm born July 1st. I'm a Cancer at heart, you know, and I have a big family and I love hosting and all these things.
Yeah.
And I think like at the core, that's who I am. And I was able to build. So maybe that's my secret.
Yeah.
Figure out what you love and who you are at your core and build off of that.
Like almost like a spider, like have your epicenter. I don't know why I first thought of spider web. Like have your epicenter, which is a home, and then build like the web off of it or the tree off it or whatever you want to say.
Right? You love it. That's your epicenter. That's what you love. That's your heart, right?
That's
and then if you build businesses off of it, you're going to enjoy all of it.
Yeah, and the network will be connected, the contractors will be connected, like it'll all go to one spot. I like it. It's a funnel system. I love it, and I also think why not? That's a good one too. Why not? Like you need to ask for help. Why not? You need to ask for a bigger raise. Why not?
Why not?
Ask yourself why not.
I had
That's
a
what you should leave with. Why not?
In grad school that said everything is negotiable. He said, go to the deli, you can negotiate the sandwich.
I love it.
Like everything. And that changed my perspective on negotiation.
Talk about vulnerability. Actually, why not? I have a bracelet on right now. It says, why not?
Shut up.
Yeah, isn't that funny? And this is because one of my buddy's dads got diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And like the mindset of the family is like, odds aren't in our favor. But like, why not us? Why can't we be those small odds? So we've been wearing it. So that's funny. Why not us right here? So why not?
Crazy.
There you go.
Why
Small
not?
world out here. All right, Erin, where can everyone find everything you have going on? Your Instagram, all your businesses. They want to buy your tequila. Where can they get it all?
Mezcal.
Okay. Where can they find your Mezcal tequila?
No, it's not tequila at all.
Wait, you don't even say Mezcal tequila?
No, because it's
just
not
say
tequila.
Mezcal.
It's a totally different.
It's not?
No,
I thought it was a
agave.
subcategory
I know.
of.
It's a misconception.
Interesting.
Yeah, mezcal and tequila are completely different things. They have different rules and restrictions. Like tequila can have 51%, only has to be 51% pure agave.
Okay.
49% can be additives. By Mexican law, mezcal has to be 100% pure agave.
Did not know that.
Different thing.
I do know because I went to Jalisco and I know that like a lot of those companies that we're buying from have a ton of additives.
All of them.
And the ones that don't are like very forward with it.
Yeah,
but
very few.
Mezcal's not
and
like
it's also
that.
only made in Jalisco because mostly because it's all Blue Weber agave.
Yes, that's
Mezcal
right.
has 70 different types of agaves. That's why you have different flavors.
Oh, shit. You learn new things every day. Where can people find your Mezcal?
Well, you can find our Mezcal on mezcalum.com, or you can order from Fresh Direct, or, hopefully your local liquor store has it. If not, tell them they should.
Tell them. Get on it.
And then follow me on Instagram, Erin Lichy.
Erin Lichy. This has been an unbelievable episode of Trading
fun.
Secrets.
Really
Can't
great.
wait to watch you on Real Housewives, but thank you for sharing some of your business trading secrets along the way. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.